Welcome to Rose Red Homestead. So I'm thinking about what I want to have for quick and easy breakfast this coming week as I get up way early and have to leave before the sun comes up. And one of the best things, of course, is yogurt. Now, because Jim and I are on a healthy lifestyle, the yogurt that has been recommended for us is the organic Greek yogurt that is non-fat. Now, this comes from Costco, and you know, it's okay, but I always have to add a little bit of jam to it, which sort of defeats the purpose of the healthy lifestyle. Before I can eat it, it's just too tangy for me. And so I started making my own yogurt, and oh my goodness, what a difference. So today we're going to talk about how to make yogurt, and we're going to do variations on a theme. And so we'll get started when we come back in just a moment. Here are the ingredients that we will need as we go forward today. First of all, to make yogurt, you need some kind of milk. Now, I make it in 1/2 gallon increments because that will last me a week. I only have it about 3 mornings a week or 4 mornings a week, and so that's plenty for me. So when I'm making yogurt for me, I start off with non-fat milk. But I've been reading a lot about making yogurt, and I wanted to try some other things today. And I haven't tried this before, so this is going to be a little bit of an experiment for us today. This is whole milk, and I'm sure it is going to be richer and creamier, and I'm just hoping that when I taste this, I will still feel motivated to go back to my non-fat. But you can make yogurt with any kind of milk. In fact, you can even make yogurt with the almond milk, with the non-dairy milks. Now, I'm not going to demonstrate that today, but we're going to do it 2 different batches of yogurt, one non-fat and one whole milk. And these are very, very fresh. We just picked those up at the store this morning. Now, the other ingredients that we are going to need is a start. Now, we have to have a live culture because once again, yogurt is a fermented food. And so we need the right kind of healthy bacteria that will produce the thickness and the probiotics and the taste that we like. And so this particular yogurt, as it has turned out, even though it is not my personal favorite in terms of Greek yogurt, it is fabulous as a start. It has 5 different types of bacteria, all live inside this yogurt. So we will be using a 1/2 cup to mix in with the milk that we're going to use. And then for the non-fat milk, in order to thicken it up just a little bit and add a little bit more protein, I'm also going to add a 1/2 cup of dry milk solids. And this is just powdered milk, and it is just a plain white powder. So I'm going to be adding a 1/2 cup of that to the non-fat milk. And there are only 3 things that you need to remember when doing yogurt. 3 actions: scald, inoculate, incubate. And that's all there is to it. If you can remember those 3 things, you can make yogurt. And I'll tell you, yogurt is one of the easiest things to make. So all we do is we pour the milk into a pot and we scald it. We'll bring it up to just over 200 degrees. And then I have a sink over here already with cold water. I will bring this pot back over and put it right down in that cold water because we want that temperature to lower. We'll take it up to about 200 degrees and then we will lower it to about 110 degrees. And when it gets right around 210, 215, then we are going to take a 1/2 cup of our starch, which is just this yogurt, and mix it in with a little bit of the warm milk stir it all up and make it real liquidy and smooth, and then we'll pour that into our milk, and then we'll stir that up, and then we are ready to incubate. So we're going to inoculate with this, and then we will incubate. Now, because I like Greek yogurt, that takes an extra step, and I will show you that step when we get there. So let's start with, I think we'll start with the non-fat. And so I'm just going to pour the whole half gallon right into this pot, keeping it from splashing on me. And then I'm going to add the half a cup of milk solids. And it doesn't have to be exact, it's just about. I'm going to kind of sprinkle that over the top. And then I'm just going to take my wire whip and just stir it around. You know, I was raised on powdered milk. I come from a large family. My dad was a college professor, and so in order to make the grocery bill stretch, Mother would mix up powdered milk. And, you know, a long, long time ago, decades ago, the powdered milk wasn't nearly as good as it is today. And I had such a gag reflex whenever I would drink that powdered milk. And you know, that has lasted with me my whole lifetime. So just now, that little whiff of powdered milk brought back all of those memories to me. But when it's in the yogurt, I can't even taste it, which is a good thing. So now we're going to move over to the cooktop, and we'll get started over there as we bring it up to scald at about 200 degrees. I have the cooktop on at 7, and we've just started. This foaminess is from the dried powdered milk. And we'll need to pretty much stir constantly. And we'll need to take the temperature. Now, whatever kind of a thermometer you have is perfectly good enough. I've actually borrowed Jim's thermometer that he uses on his smoker outside. So I'm going to stick that probe in there to see where we are right now. Looks like we're at 97 degrees, so we have a ways to go. Oops, up to 100. All right, so I'm going to keep stirring this. And there's nothing really to see here. Once we get close to 200 degrees, I'll bring you back and show you the next step. All right, we had a little glitch, and what you are looking at is not the fat-free milk. We filmed the entire sequence of the fat-free milk only to find out at the end that the sound was bad. So we have come back, and we are at the very same point where we left off on the other one, and we'll take it from here. So this is the whole milk. It's 198 degrees. We do not want it to boil, so I'm going to take this off the heat, probably in about 3 or 4 more degrees. I can really tell the difference as I am stirring this whole milk. It's already much thicker, of course, because it contains the cream, and the other one was completely fat-free. So I'll be so interested to see how this turns out. Testing the temperature again. It's 199. Give it another degree or 2. We have a good friend at the next homestead down the road, and they have a cow, and they make their yogurt in their Instant Pot with whole milk, and I just bet it's fabulous. (200 degrees). Just another degree or 2, and then we'll take it over, and then we have to cool this down to 110 degrees, and we'll do that in the sink. I already have cold water waiting for us over there in the sink. I bet this is about done. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay, it hit 201 before I pulled it off the heat. Let me turn the unit off here. Okay, over in the sink we have this cold water, and the pan is pretty much going to float in this cold water. And I'm going to swish it around a little bit to make sure that the water that's next to the pan is always cool, and we'll cool this down to between 115 and 110 going downward. We do not want to inoculate the milk while it is this hot. Otherwise it will kill the live bacteria. And it is those good bacteria that create the fermentation that gives the yogurt its tang. So we'll monitor this temperature. It goes down fairly quickly. We'll be back probably in about 5 or 6 minutes. Our milk has cooled down, and so the scalding is finished, and we are now ready to inoculate. So how we inoculate is with this live culture. So I'm going to take about a cup of this warm milk from the pan, and then I'm going to add to this warm milk a half a cup of this live culture. And it doesn't have to be exact, just about half a cup is just fine. And it is possible after you make yogurt with the live culture, you can use your homemade yogurt as the culture for probably 3 or 4 times, and then you'll want to start over with a fresh culture from the store. Now I'm going to stir that yogurt around in this warm milk, and the reason that we do that is that we don't want any lumps of that yogurt swimming around in the milk. We want everything evenly distributed throughout. So you can kind of tell that this thickened up this milk quite a bit. Now, are we ready for the inoculation? Here goes. That's all there is to inoculation. So now I'm going to stir this up. And we are ready for the incubation. Now, people incubate yogurt a lot of different ways. The idea is to keep it, the temperature right between 100 and 110. Now, this is the fat-free milk. And because I do Greek yogurt, I don't put it into little fancy jars at this point in time, because I have one more step to do after it is all set up. So this is a gallon jug, and the milk is in there, and because the top isn't insulated very well, I just threw a towel over the top of it. So this is our fat-free milk, and we're going to be checking that when it has incubated about 6 hours. I have found that my favorite degree of tang is achieved at about 6 hours. Now I have something just really cool to show you. This is how I'm going to incubate this. Oh, this is wet here. Let me get a towel and wipe this off. This is a Wonder Bag, and I'm always looking for ways that I can prepare food without using any energy, because this is a good emergency preparedness strategy, to be able to use equipment that does not require fuel. And I love this concept. It's just a well-insulated bag. These pockets are filled with foam, and so I'm just going to put this, oh, this is wet as well. Wipe off the bottom of this. So I'm just going to put this right down in the bottom of this Wonder Bag, and I'm going to just pull it as tight as I possibly can around the top. And then I'm going to put its little hat on. Boom! And so this is, we'll check this again when it has incubated for about 6 hours. Now, if you have an Instant Pot with a yogurt setting, lucky you. My Instant Pot does not have the yogurt setting. But I can do just as well without a fancy pot to do yogurt. Anybody can. And so it is just lovely to think that I have these 2 batches of yogurt going and I'm not using one bit of energy. I'm just preserving the heat that was already in the food before we just wrapped it and insulated it. So we'll be back in about 6 hours, and it will be after dark by then, but we will check, and what I'm most interested to see is the difference in the consistency between the 2 and also the taste. And then I will show you what I do to turn this regular yogurt, which many people just stop at this point, but I want to turn it into Greek yogurt. So I'll show you what that step is when we come back. Well, as you can probably tell by the lighting, it's after dark, and our lighting isn't as good after dark, but it has been 6 hours, and now it is time to check our yogurts to see how they are doing. So let's open up the non-fat yogurt first. I'm anxious to see how this little container did. I haven't used this one before. Okay, well, it doesn't look like you can see in there very well, but it has completely set up. So I'm just going to take a quick little taste. It's all mounding on this spoon. It looks really good. So let me see how it's doing. It's nice and thick. It has a very nice tang to it. So the next step is because I'm going to be making Greek yogurt. Now this would be a finished product for many people, but the next step for Greek yogurt is to put it in a strainer. Now this is just a bowl with holes in it, if you can see those holes, and it's over another bowl. And I'm just now going to pour the yogurt into this because I want to strain off a lot of the whey. Woo! That came out in a hurry. So I'll reach in with this scraper and scrape the rest out, but I hope you can see how nice and thick it is. Putting that extra half cup of dry milk solids really did help get it nice and thick. It also has more protein. Now what this is going to do is, I don't know if it started yet. Yes, you can see the dripping maybe. That is whey dripping out of the yogurt. So essentially what is going to be going on, we're going to refrigerate this all night long. So this nice, lovely, thick yogurt is going to be even more thick by morning because it's going to lose a lot of the whey. So in the morning, when we take it out of the refrigerator, we will measure the whey to see if this yogurt loses as much whey as the whole milk does. So I've made a mess on my countertop here. Let me wipe this off. And do a quick little dry. Oh, that yogurt, the tang is just perfect. So I'm going to set this aside and we'll put that in the refrigerator a little bit later. So now here comes this one. Now I have used this one before to do yogurt, and I want to tell you one more thing about this Wonder Bag. I purchased this through Amazon. I think it was $35. But the really cool thing is that when you buy one of these, the company donates one exactly like this to a family in Africa. So if they really do what they claim that they do, I think that is really nice. So let's take the hat off. It still feels warm in there. Take out the pen. This came with a little recipe book, and you can do stew and lots of other things just by getting it hot to begin with and then storing or continue cooking without any energy for several hours and things get done. So I'm going to set this off to the side, and let's take a look in our pot to see what the whole milk has done. It's still warm. So here's a clean spoon. Okay, this one you can probably see better. It is all set up. So let me take a little taste. Oh yeah. Oh goodness, yes. The extra cream in there just makes it really wonderful. Some of the things that I have read about making your own yogurt also say that, you know, if you wanted to, you could even make yogurt out of half and half, or you could add extra cream, whatever you would like to do. So I think I'm going to spoon this one out so that it doesn't go out there with a big plop. But this is very mounded up, very nice. So this one is going to go in this little setup. Oh, this is going to take forever. So I'm just going to see if I can do this carefully. Now by morning, this will be far thicker. Actually, for two reasons. Because of the cold in the refrigerator, of course, and because it's going to lose a lot of its whey. So it's all set in here, and actually right now the non-fat is just a little bit thicker, but I think that this one will thicken up quite a bit in the refrigerator. So let's see if this one is dripping yet. Not as much as the other one, but it is dripping. I don't know if you can see the drips, but there's some hitting the bottom of that bowl. So we'll put these in the refrigerator. And it looks like I'm going to have a good breakfast in the morning. I wonder which one I will try in the morning. We'll be back in the morning to take a look at these and to measure the whey in both to see with the variables of having the non-fat compared with the whole milk. That's kind of given us a little bit of variation in how we do things. Plus knowing that you can make yogurt with non-dairy milk like almond milk, and also the variety of ways that you can incubate this. Now, the incubation, what that means is that the bacteria is growing and multiplying and fermenting the milk, and that's what makes it thicker and gives it that really nice tang. There are other ways of incubating besides these two ways that I did. I have used my dehydrator before. I've just pulled all of the shelves out of my dehydrator, and the main cooking pan fits right inside my dehydrator, and I just set it for 104 degrees and away it goes. But of course, the downside of that is that it uses energy for 6 hours, and these other two ways are really nice. I've also seen some people turn their ovens on at the very low temperature, lowest possible, and then once they get ready for incubation, they turn the oven off and then just put the pot in the oven and let it stay in there, and the heat is retained because an oven is very well insulated. And then I have also seen other people that do it in an ice chest. They will put boiling water in milk jugs and put those down in the ice chest, and then those milk jugs will heat up the ice chest and keep the jars nice and warm all night long. So those are just a few of the variations that we can employ when we are making our own yogurt. But this is such a simple process. So I can't wait till morning, and we'll see what these look like when we get up in the morning. Good morning. It's bright and sunny outside. It's almost time for breakfast. So here is our yogurt from being all night in the refrigerator. And the coffee filters that I lined these colanders with are soaking wet, which means the whey has now all dropped down into the bowl. And these bowls are now quite thick. This is the, let's see, okay, this is the whole milk. And look how much whey. I'm just going to pour it right here into this measuring cup. There's 2 cups right there, so it's a little bit more than 2 cups. Here is the non-fat, just as thick as can be. So we will pour the whey from here into this one. There's 2 cups. Oh my goodness, a lot more. So from the whole milk, it's a little bit cloudier. The non-fat milk is more clear. Now, a lot of people use this whey in making bread and in other things, making smoothies and things. I do not. I do artisan bread, and I can't use whey in artisan bread. So I'll just discard this a little bit later. But I'm just right now going to put it down in the sink. But let's move these into some final dishes here. And so this is the, look how that mounds up. This is the non-fat. So it's very thick. Oh my goodness, it's really thick. It just looks fabulous. And I tasted both of them yesterday. I'm afraid if I taste the whole milk that I won't ever quit eating it. So I'll probably save that one for Jim. So when you make Greek yogurt, it does lose a lot of the volume of the original amount, but it concentrates the protein, which is what we're after. So we started with 2 quarts of milk, and it looks like we probably have a little bit more than a quart of this yummy yogurt. So that looks just about right for breakfast. Now for the whole milk, this is also very thick. It just mounds up on this scraper. So I'll get this in here. Looks like there's a little bit more volume left in this one, which makes sense because it lost less whey. And it is a little less thick than the non-fat, but that would be because of the addition of the extra milk solids, the powdered milk, which was also non-fat. I tried straining the last time. Instead of using coffee filters, I used a tea towel, thinking that that would be a good idea. Well, it wasn't. The yogurt is very, very sticky, and it was hard to get it out of the bowl after I had made the Greek yogurt. These coffee filters I can just gather up, and they're completely disposable. So that is a good thing. All right, so we have 2 beautiful containers of yogurt. There we go. This one is just beautiful as well. So this should keep me in breakfast for the rest of the week. I hope you've enjoyed this video on how to make yogurt, and I hope if you've never tried it before that you will try it, because this is so nutritious and it is delicious. Homemade yogurt, there's just no comparison with the taste between yogurt that you make at home and that you buy in the stores. So I'm looking forward to this week and eating these delicious yogurts, and I'll probably try both of them. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.